Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to make the most of odd opportunities. Excuse me if I'm looking down, I have my notes because I can't correct. Alright, so in this video, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about odd opportunities. And I strongly believe that a lot of times you might not always get the best opportunity that you want or even the best opportunity that you've worked hard for. But that doesn't mean that you can't still make it work for you. I guess in my personal life, I remember I was in undergrad and the summer before my junior year, I'd done this internship. It was with a health insurance company and I really felt like, oh my God, this is it. I finally figured out kind of where, like what industry I generally want to be in, thinking about healthcare and public health. And you know, that school year I ended up doing a lot of coursework in public health because I just changed my major, even though I was a junior, but you know, God helped me and I graduated on time. But I changed my major, and so I did a lot of public health classes, and along the way, it really solidified for me my interest in public health. So I'm thinking to myself, summertime comes, I'm getting me a public health internship. Except summertime came, and I didn't have a public health internship. So, I was kind of like, what am I gonna do? Because I didn't want to not have something to do for the summer, right? I had an internship from the school year that was with a program office on campus, and they offered me a summertime position, but I was like, I don't really want to do this. So I actually was going to go home with my parents because my parents came up to school to attend the graduation of a family friend and pick me up, and I was actually going to go home with them. But then I woke up the day that I was supposed to go home with my parents, and I was like, you know what? I feel like God wants me to stay. Let me just give this internship, let me give this summer position a try. And so I gave the summer position a try. And in retrospect, I think it was definitely a great decision that I made to actually stay and take this opportunity. So like I mentioned, in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to make the most of an odd opportunity, but I'm going to have a second video where I'm going to talk about how to determine if you should take an odd opportunity. All right, so let's get started with today's video. First things first, when you get an odd opportunity, you can always use it as a way to build relationships. For some people, an odd opportunity is going to be something that is outside of your industry, something that is outside of your desired company, or something that is just maybe outside of your specific role that you want. So maybe you wanted to get a research assistant role, but you happen to get administrative assistant role in a lab instead, right? Something of that nature. But I really believe that when you get an odd opportunity, you should still use it as a way to build relationships. So in my example, I was in a program office that was really just two. It was just myself and the program director. And so it gave me an opportunity to start meeting with a lot of other staff on campus and to get to know who they were, for them to know who I was, what I was representing. And the great thing about it is that for me, I built such a great relationship with the program director that I was still using him for reference letters way after I left that position, because he got to work one-on-one with me. He knew how it worked. He knew kind of where my mind was. And even though it wasn't within public health, anyone that can speak to your character is always a great thing for you. So if you do have an odd opportunity, make sure that you're still being intentional about building good relationships, because these are people you can always look back to get a reference letter from. The second thing that I was able to do with this odd opportunity is I used it as a way to gain some desired skills. Now, I want to say, and I'm saying that I want to say because I could be wrong, but there should be no such thing as an opportunity where you cannot gain at least one skill. If you're looking at an opportunity and you can't see any skills that you can gain or further refine, that's probably not an opportunity. Like, you're probably just sitting at home watching Netflix. I think you should always go after those things that will help you build your skill set. So for me, one thing that I really was passionate about is presenting. I actually really like presenting. And I wanted to be able to present as often as possible to different student groups, to different, individuals, whatever the case might be. And so through this program, I actually got the chance to present a lot, right? I talked to student groups. I had to talk to incoming students, or I think prospective students. So these weren't even students who had agreed to come to the school. But I had to know how to distill all the information that I had about this program and to distill it in just a little bit of time so that I could catch them real quick when they were walking by my table and tell them why this program was great, even though they didn't know they want to go to our school yet. So once again, because it was just a staff of two, that meant that I really got to get in the nitty-gritty, put my hands all up and everywhere and be like, hey, yeah, let me help you with this. So I think that was great because it helped me to really kind of build those program management skills that I've been able to continue to build on. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't doing like major project management, like, oh, I'm about to go take the PMP, but it was a start. And I think we all need to start. The third thing that I think these odd opportunities are great for is that it allows you to become a subject matter expert, aka an SME. Becoming a SME, as people like to call it, SME, becoming a SME is something that is really important, right? Now, if you are doing something that is outside of the industry that you would ideally want to work in, yes, once you leave this position, the topic or the content might not necessarily be relevant, but the ability to become a SME is extremely relevant, right? Becoming a SME means that you are learning how to kind of learn on the go, right? For a lot of people that become SMEs, they don't walk into the position being a SME unless, maybe they've been schooling for it their entire life. And even at that, school and real life are a little bit different, y'all, in case you didn't know. But anyways, so becoming a SME is really important because it gives you the opportunity to become very, very knowledgeable on something and to be reliable for something. I think for a lot of people in early career, they don't look to us to be SMEs. But I think if you can pick out good techniques to become a SME pretty quickly, it will help you when you actually start, that full-time job that you want to do after school, so that you are reliable. Becoming a SME probably sounds a little bit harder than it really is, but it's really just about knowing how to find the right information and being well-versed in the information. I think a lot of times when people use SME, you would think someone that's probably been studying this in their entire life, but no, I mean, you can become a SME after like probably a few months, depending on how much time you put into something. So I definitely think that, if you're able to get an odd opportunity, use it as like a practice course to become a SME. That way you know how you learn, you know how you retain certain information, and you know the best way for you to be able to even show others that you know that information. I would say my fourth tip for making the most of an odd opportunity is to use it as a way to fail softly. I think a lot of us, we don't want to fail. We don't like hearing the word fail. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to necessarily fail either. But at times, you're going to make mistakes. And so I think for someone who either doesn't have any work experience or maybe doesn't have work experience in a specific setting, being able to go into something that you deem odd and giving it your best and failing at times is good. It helps you. It helps you to learn the right way to go about rebounding from a fail. It'll help you to know the right way to go about, learning from that fail so that it doesn't happen again. Additionally, I think that for me, in, the position that I was doing, because I knew I could kind of fail softly, it forced me to be a little bit more vocal and say, hey, how about we try this? Or hey, how about we try that? Not that I necessarily wanted to like bring the whole program crashing down, but if I tried something and, obviously you want to limit when you're trying something very, very different, you obviously have to limit the scale or the impact that it's going to have. But we could try something and say, hey, let's try this. And if it doesn't work, all right, cool, scrap it. It doesn't work. It's not like the entire company is looking at me like, oh, girl, you failed. No. So I think that, I would definitely suggest that if you do find yourself in an opportunity, an odd opportunity, even really any opportunity, find those areas or those times where you can fail and you can be okay. You don't find them a lot once you actually start working regularly and are doing, your everyday work. Because if you fail, it becomes, did we really hire you for the right reasons? So I do think it's important that if you have yourself an odd opportunity, that you learn how to fail while you have it, okay? All right, so like I mentioned, in the next part, I'm going to be talking about how to determine if you should even take an odd opportunity. Let's be real, there's some odd opportunities that just don't make no sense, and I wouldn't even advise you to take. So in my next video, I'm going to be talking about how to determine if you should even take an odd opportunity. Some of the things that I'm going to be talking about will be relevant whether it's an odd opportunity or not, but I think when you're thinking about odd opportunities, they're all the more important. Let me know in the comments if you think there are other ways to make the most of odd opportunities, and let me know in the comments if you habitually turn down odd opportunities, and let me know why. I'm actually curious. As always, please feel free to like, share, make sure you subscribe, and you can turn on your notification bell. See you on next Tuesday. Bye.